Also, though, in DC sports today, news made right here on 106.7 The Fan. Did you hear Ted Leonsis on with the Junkies?
I did. I heard a big chunk of that, yeah.
Right here this morning, about a half hour with the owner of the Caps and the Wiz and the Mystics and so many other properties and entities here in town. Ted Leonsis confirmed that he is not done trying to buy the Nationals. This was pretty massive news today. He was asked if he plans on making another run at buying the Nats, and this is what Leonsis said on the Junkies.
Offer was, but I was told it was somewhere in the 1.8 range to maybe 2. Is that accurate? And if it's not accurate, what kind of number do you think it would take to get the team?
I don't know. The team's not officially for sale. We're very close. We're partners with the learners.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have nothing but friendly, I'd almost say huggy, kissy kind of relationships with them. They're business people. We're business people. But we will make a credible and strong offer. And we'll continue speaking. And yeah, I'm very interested. But there's no rush. Their season just started. The Mystic season is starting tonight. We all have other pursuits and businesses, and they're not going anywhere. And obviously, as we talked last time, I'm not going anywhere either. So.
This was Leonsis as well, Danny, and we can react to this in a moment. But talking about why he wants to buy the Nationals, connecting the dots for you, and then you'll hear him elaborate. They already own the Wizards and the Capitals. Those two sports are at the same time. They have all those television games. He pretty clearly wants to get baseball. He wants to get the TV rights on Monumental and away from Masson. And then he'll have a year-round opportunity for games as he grows his DC sports empire, so to speak. This was Leonsis on why he wants to buy the Nats.
Are you interested in adding another team? You reportedly put in a bid for the Washington Nationals at one point. Would you put in another bid down the road?
I think so. I think that it makes a lot of sense for us in that we want to make Washington, D.C. the greatest city. We want to make our network the most important local network, and we need year-round programming. We need to have scale so that we can compete with the New Yorks and the LAs as a community. And so having winter programming, Caps and Wizards, and then summer programming, baseball team and a women's basketball team, owning the venues, I think we can compete from a business standpoint, from a revenue standpoint with those really big markets. And in baseball, you need that. You really need to have a big base of revenues to be able to afford putting great lineups out there. And what Baltimore has done is remarkable, but they paid a price. They were bad for more than a decade, right? So they just got first round picks for a long time, and now they're reaping that. But if you look in baseball and their system, usually you have to spend money to keep your great players. And so I think from a strategy standpoint, it makes sense. From a how will I manage it? Well, I'm not in Chicago right now working out the players, looking at what their verticals are. I'm not in the draft rooms. I mean, that's not what I do. I don't think I can add that value. I know each of you, if we had brought you in, you could have helped us with all of the drafts.
Oh, yeah,
but it's
sure.
not what we've learned to do, right? So it's not like I'm going to be scouting players in Costa Rica, right?
And maybe skip Costa Rica and go to the Dominican, or I don't know. It'd be nice to get a player from Japan every now and then. The Nats have not had any of those players imported into their lineup or their rotation either. But I certainly understand the point. What did you make of that? Because I hear today in that interview, I want to buy the team. I plan on buying the team. Here's why I want to buy the team. And I didn't hear any mention that they're not going to be selling the team. Like, to me, it sounds like almost an expectation.
A matter of when.
That they're going to be back on the market. And even when they asked him about not getting the team before, Ted Leonsis said it wasn't really about the money. He made it seem like his offer was actually much closer to what they're looking for, which is, I think, $2.2 billion. Sounded like he was up over $2 billion. He made it sound like it was more about timing. Ted Lerner being sick, who's the matriarch of the patriarch of the family, that he had been lost, right? So I don't know. I heard that today, and I thought this is a real thing. Ted Leonsis buying this team is very much alive right now.
Yeah, again, I think it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. It's now the Lerner family and their decision making. We see Mark Lerner, right? That's the guy who's out front. If there is a spokesman,
He's also the one that wants to continue to own the team,
and he's the one from what we've heard. Again, this is all, we're not privy to every conversation, but they sort of run this executive committee style for everything, where the whole family's in there. That's in-laws, and kind of, if you're included in the group, you have decision making power. So I don't know if they'll eventually be back for sale. I don't know the timetable, but I know that Mark was very strongly in favor of keeping the team, at least at this point. Now, whether that was because the price wasn't met or because he wanted the team, the next couple of years will be fascinating in that regard.
So I want to first say I don't know anything, right? A lot of times I've said on the air, like, my opinions are based on conversations I've had with people smarter than me. I have not gotten really good information on this. So this is purely speculative.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say is that I think Ted Leonsis probably needs someone to help him buy the team financially. That's a lot of money when you already own these other teams. Remember, I think David Rubenstein was involved with him previously. He's out because he now owns the Baltimore Orioles, who's, I think, going to help a lot. And all the more reason why I expect Ted to buy this team is they're trying to solve the Masson dilemma. Well, he's tight with the guy that now owns the Birds.
That's the way to solve it.
He could probably get the teams out of, or his team out of the Masson deal, get them on Monumental. David Rubenstein has made it very clear that he doesn't plan on continuing to legislate this for years and years. Doesn't think it's good for anybody. Thinks the Orioles could benefit from it being over as much as the Nationals. I'm paraphrasing. But for that reason, I just think this offseason, there's plenty of months where nothing's going on. Season ends, team goes back up for sale. Leonsis and whoever replaces David Rubenstein to help him out kind of swoop in, and maybe that's when you start to get business done, if I had to guess.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is all, the variable, of course, is the Lerner family's thinking. They have done things. There's so much that they've done incredibly well. The success of the organization speaks for itself. The window that they opened, they built, they took their time. They were really, really good. It's been painstaking a couple times since that window has closed. But again, I think by and large, this is a pretty good ownership group, right? But they do things their way. And that's in business. That's in baseball. That's in, we're going to offer a potential manager $1 million a year, which is a quarter of what these guys are getting on the open market. And it's for 1 year. Ta-da. They do it their way, man. Like, whatever it is, it's their way. So, folks that I know that know them or have done business with them in other walks of life, commercial real estate or otherwise, say they're tough but fair. When they go, okay, the price for the sake of argument is $100. They go, well, I can give you 95, and then we can do this. The price is $100. Call us when it's $100.
I always say
and that's the end.
What's the ballpark called? It's Nationals Park.
Mm-hmm.
They could have gotten a naming rights deal 15 years ago. When they opened in 2008, so it's been 16 years. So yeah, 15 years ago for 75 cents on the dollar. And if you take 75 cents times 15 years, you've made a lot of money. But because they could never get the $1, which is what they think it's worth, they've decided to get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a microcosm, in my opinion, of how they often operate. But I thought that was amazing audio. I thought it was a great interview by the Junks right here on The Fan. If you guys missed it this morning, you should absolutely podcast half hour with Ted Leonsis. By the way, he made the announcement as well. They're moving a second WNBA game to Capital One Arena. There is an explosion of ticket sales right now. The Caitlin Clark effect.
It is real.
It is legitimate. So they already moved the game against the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team, to Capital One Arena. That is been known, and they're hoping to sell that out, by the way, which would be amazing. Think about that, for the record.
Yeah.
Like 20,000 people in the arena for the Mystics and the Indiana Fever. That's amazing. There's a second game now that they plan on moving, which involves Angel Reese, who's the other big star out of college basketball on the women's side this year. And so they I guess, sold out already over at their other venue, or it's not big enough. They've decided to move that game, and he made that announcement today on the show as well.